Al, it's time to erase our names.
Oh, I'm kind of attached to mine.
Too bad. Gotta get rid of it.
You're right. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Name, get out.
Name, get out.
Yeah, we're talking about a man who erased his name today.
Next name, come on.
Oh boy. Hello.
We haven't played yet.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Season 11 Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc, Al, and Ladium.
Hello.
This is episode 361, and we are discussing Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
Getting ready for that 8.
Yes, the 8.
The 8. This is the bridge between 6 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess technically 7 because it's like what's going on in 7.
Yeah. I mean, in Japan, it is titled Like a Dragon 7 Side Story. Or just Like a Dragon 7 Gaiden. It just, they put a 7 in the name.
Oh.
That's what makes sense there.
Why can't we ever just have the same names?
Don't ask me.
It's like they purposefully try to make everything as complicated as they possibly can.
Now, why'd you have to go make things so complicated?
True.
True. Yeah, like you said, this is the bridge between from 6 to 8, telling us what Kiryu's been up to in the time during those games, or I guess during the game, which is 7,
Mm-hmm.
and how he leads up into being involved in 8 and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
After, he faked his death at the end of 6.
Yeah, that dude named Kiryu's gone.
Yeah, we get to hang out with this dude named Joryu.
Joryu. He's constantly like, I don't know who you're talking about this Kiryu guy.
Yosh.
I'm sure he was a pretty cool guy, but like, I'm not him.
Oi. Sunglasses, indeed. Yeah, this game came out on November the 9th of this year worldwide on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and the personal computers. And we get to play as Kiryu again.
Mm-hmm.
With our punchy stuff. Like, this is not a turn-based RPG like Yakuza 7 was. This is, the brawler style that the first 7 Yakuza games were, because it is a Kiryu game, so that, of course, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You get 2 fighting styles. You get the Yakuza fighting style, which is your more traditional fighting style that you're used to with Kiryu, where he's very powerful and he can do all sorts of punchy stuff. And then you have the agent style, where you have a lot of like gadgety type stuff that deals with his current occupation of being a secret Daidoji agent. So you get to use like cool little things where you can you have cigarettes that blow up, you have little drones you can use to attack people,
Yeah,
you can
rocket shoes,
you have like a cool cyber whip. I don't know, it's like a whip, it's like just like a rope.
Yeah,
you can just like grab people and fling them.
It's like a grappling fishing hook thing.
Yeah, but you don't fish. No fishing in this game.
And it's the one knock against it.
It's true.
And well, there are a couple things I was like, but the fishing is a big negative. Let me fish.
Let's talk about the development of this video game.
Okay.
Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, was originally conceived during the development of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. RGG studio director Masayoshi Yokoyama suggested to the development team to expand further on Kazuma Kiryu's backstory in between the events of the prior titles, rather than restricting to an interlude for Infinite Wealth. It was discussed that the project be done in downloadable content form before eventually evolving into a full game. This game was developed in parallel with Infinite Wealth and Like a Dragon Ishin, and was finished within 6 months.
Holy 6 months? That's speedy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they had most of the assets ready, but
Yeah.
well, no, they didn't, because there are characters in this that they had to make.
Yeah, but they didn't have a new area or anything they had to make for it.
Right, that helps to have the only real new thing was the castle.
Mm-hmm. Like a Dragon Gaiden was announced in September of 2022 during RGG Studios Summit livestream alongside a debut cinematic trailer. Yokoyama explained that the game would be shorter in length compared to the usual mainline entries. Gaiden's playtime was roughly estimated to be 10 to 20 hours, while Yokoyama promised that there would be ample amount of activities for players to do. I finished this game in 30 hours. Because I am a sicko.
I mean, I was there too.
Yes, true. We are both sickos.
I contributed to your sickoness.
They did a Cabaret Grand Prix competition, which they usually do for these games, where they hold a contest to see like who will be involved in the Cabaret mini games and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, notably, Kason is in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And they are live action Cabaret Club stuff. So like, it is not just like you going in there with like a digitized version of this person. They just filmed live action like stuff for the Cabaret mini game, which is weird and interesting.
It's not for me.
It sure is something.
It sure is something. Like, I wanted while we were playing to hang out more like with Kason
Mm-hmm.
to see like what her storyline was gonna be, but like it's kind of awkward. It doesn't seem as awkward as like the cam girl from the previous one.
Yeah.
I don't know why it doesn't seem as awkward, but this one just seems very awkward.
There's like, it's just a bit of like uncanny valley to it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that that's the situation. It's funny though, because Kiri's like, it's so realistic. It's like, oh my God.
Yoush.
Yoosh.
Uh,
Yeah, I also didn't realize Kason had such large booba.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She showed up at the cabaret. I was like, oh, you're stacked. Okay. Didn't know that about you. So yeah, learn that.
It's the power of America.
Booba?
Yeah.
Man, I must have missed that part of America. Because I don't got the booba. Anyway.
They showed off more stuff in this game, including like, the new fighting style and all that sort of stuff. It is getting an English dub at some point. Although there are people who are not happy with the new Kiryu dub feller.
Yongye.
Because they've the dub is present in the Infinite Wealth demo that you get after you finish the game. So you're able to test that out, test the waters on that. But you cannot do it in the Gaiden game currently because it is not out. Of course, most importantly though,
okay.
Professional wrestling promotion All Elite Wrestling held a Like a Dragon Gaiden street fight to promote the game on the November 15, 2023 episode of Dynamite. Between the Golden Dragons of Dojima of Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Kota Ibushi, and Paul White, facing off against the Don Callis family of Brian Cage, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Powerhouse Hobbs. Real things that happen in the world of professional wrestling.
That's wild.
We saw our friend Kota Ibushi ride down the entrance ramp on a bicycle.
It looked like a tricycle because he's so like big.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like a trike to me. It's like, man. It was really funny to watch, though.
It is very funny, yes.
It's very, very good.
Let's watch this 40-year-old man ride down the ramp on a bicycle.
Yeah, that looks entirely too small for him.
Yes.
I'm here for it. Wrestling, live your best weird life.
It's true.
Just don't be weird, like, in the bad way.
A lot of people in wrestling are.
Yeah. Ooh.
This game also was released digital only because, like, I think basically because they were like, hey, we were going to make this a DLC, and then we were like, oh, let's just make this an actual game. So that's why it's $50, which is probably a bit too much for it.
Yeah. I think 40 would have been a sweet spot.
Yeah. On the review side of things, it is currently sitting at a 77 out of 100 on the PC and a 79 out of 100 on PS5 and a 78 out of 100 on the Xbox, according to the Metacritic. So there is that.
There we go.
So yeah, This is like we said, this is a basically this is, hey, you remember what happened at the end of 6? Let's just keep on going from that.
See what happened.
See what happens. Yeah, at the end of 6, if you do not remember, Kiryu is in a boatload of trouble. He gets
boatload.
Hey. He gets basically bribed to be like, hey, don't tell anyone about what you saw or anything. And he's like, what if you just let me die for you, and then that'll handle things. Except then now he's a part of the secret government agency, the Daidoji faction, and now he works for them. But he's basically kind of like stuck there now and has to do missions for them in order to keep it known that he's dead, and also to make sure the kids at the orphanage are safe.
Yeah, because they've got them on surveillance.
They got them on surveillance. It's true.
But
it's real rude.
Very rude.
So that's kind of like the lead up to things, and then we go to the far flung future of 2019, where Kiryu's working, he's doing his thing. The group is basically supposed to be doing a smuggling operation in Yokohama, a familiar place you may know of.
Mm-hmm. We were there all 5 minutes.
Yep. Turns out the whole thing is a trap, though, and some Yakuza folks come in and basically beat the tar out of some people.
They murder a guy.
They do murder a couple of folks. They try and kidnap Kiryu's handler Hanawa, but Kiryu's able to push them all away and everything, so they have to figure out, okay, who did this? Why would you do this? They scope out the Seiryu clan in Ijincho, but they find out that it was not them. But then they find out, hey, it's the Watase family of the Omi Alliance who did this. Interesting.
Kiryu's like, hey, I may know those guys.
They try and kidnap, or they actually kidnap Hanawa again, and the Watase family captain Tsuruno is basically like, hey, Kiryu, you should come meet with us. We have a proposition for you.
After they slammed a van into their car.
That was real rude.
It was real rude.
And then the Daidoji basically want to leave Hanawa to die, and Kiryu's like, no, not happening. So he has to beat up all the people in the temple to get out and go find him and free him. So Kiryu meets up with Tsuruno in a bar in Ijinchu, you may know as Survive, which I was very upset by because obviously that is the bar that Kashiwagi owns. And we go, I was like, oh boy, here we go. And then you go in there and they're like, oh, by the way, the bartender, he's feeling a little ill today. Sorry, he's taking a day off. And I was like, oh, you.
I was so upset. I was so upset.
It's very rude.
But
yeah,
doing?
Tsuruno reveals his plan. He's like, hey, Watase's getting out. We need your help because essentially we want you to be like a bodyguard for him and everything. And if you do this, we will basically refake your death again, so the Daidoji will be off your tail. You can hang out with your kids and everything, do all that, and it'll be all hunky dory. Except Kiryu's like, I don't know who this Kiryu guy is. Sorry, can't help you.
What you talking about, man? Also, don't want to have to take out Hanawa. That's not really my vibe.
Yep.
Because that's how Kiryu talks.
Yep. Real big on the vibe talk, of course.
He's just like, man, killing people is not my vibe. It's not my vibe.
Vibe check, not happening.
Nope. All right.
Tsuruno basically is like, all right, well, if you want to find Hanawa, go to Okinawa.
Here's a red tiger.
Here's a red tiger. Find this person named Akame, and they'll help you out. So he goes to Sotenbori, of course, and this is where you'll spend most of the game doing your stuff and everything. He finds Akame, who is this lady, jack of all trades, fixer person, who is basically she's big with the homeless people because she helps them, and basically they are her information network and everything, and she's going to basically take him to where he needs to go and all that sort of stuff, but he has to do a couple of jobs for her, which end up being a lot of jobs, of course. Kame's great. Really fun character. I hope we get to see more of her in this series moving
I hope
forward.
so too. I like her a lot. She's a little gremlin.
Hmm. But eventually she takes Kiryu to the castle, which is where you have a big majority of like your side content. This is the Colosseum aspect of the game. It is run by the Omi Alliance's Kijin clan, which is of course another operation in the Omi Alliance. This is run by Nishitani the Third.
Hmm.
Of course, if you remember Nishitani from Yakuza 0, this is the third incarnation of him, which is basically just hey, the person leading this clan inherits this name type deal.
Right.
It's not like it's
Right.
the third. It's not a
He's not related to him.
right. Yes, of course. Kiryu has to go through the Colosseum, do some fights, eventually proves his worth and everything.
We have to mention though that he has to cover his face, and what they give you initially to cover your face is like this fuzzy pink like bear mask.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's hilarious. He's just like, oh, give it to me. It's fine, whatever.
That
So you got
also
this big tough guy in that.
yeah. That also leads you to how like you can customize Kiryu's look and everything, where you have like you can customize how he looks just like, walking around doing normal stuff, and then there's like a Coliseum look you can do as well.
You chose the best looks.
So we had like, casual Kiryu with a nice suit and everything and
It
glasses,
was
and
blue.
then when he's in the Coliseum, he's wearing his nice RGG Studio T-shirt, no
And his
shoes.
jeans.
He's barefoot, and he's got the Onomichio mask on.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Is this the first time we see Kiryu in jeans?
Uh,
He doesn't seem like a jean guy.
Maybe. I mean, he's in like khaki type pants and like 3.
Right. But that's different.
Yeah, but this might be like jeans, like actual jeans, unless there's like a very small scene where he's in more casual attire or something at some point. I don't know.
Right. Anyway, it was a good look, and I'm glad you did it.
Hmm.
It was a very brave idea for you to go with that look.
It's very brave, of course.
Hmm.
Uh, so you do your fights and everything, and then basically you learn where Hanawa is. You go back to Sotenbori to go beat up a bunch of the Watase family members, and you free Hanawa. Yay!
Yay!
Saruto again basically is like, hey, by the way, you want to do this deal? You just kill Hanawa here. He's like, no. But then Saruto has to basically talk about, okay, why do you want Kiryu so bad? And he's like, all right, so the boss is getting out in like a month or something very soon, and he wants Kiryu there because he's going to dissolve the Omi Alliance and also the Tojo clan, because Daigo is going to be there as well to do that.
Yeah,
and
they're gonna do a joint statement.
yes, and he needs Kiryu there to help protect him in case things go bad, because things are going to go bad. Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah. People are not gonna be happy about this decision.
And that's why we need you there. And Kiryu's like, well, can't do that. Sorry, my guy.
I mean, if I knew who this Kiryu guy was, I'd let him know. But like that ain't me, so I don't know what you want from me.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what he does.
So yeah, he turns over Saruto to the Daidoji, and then basically things go very bad because they're like, hey, you got to kill this guy. And he's like, no. And then he tries to escape, but then he gets Kiryu gets captured and held in the Daidoji little hideout for 3 days. And they're like, we're going to kill the kids at Okinawa. And Kiryu's like, no, don't do that. And then they basically are like, all right, Hanawa, you have to kill Kiryu now. But Hanawa doesn't do it. And then the boss of the Daidoji shows up and is like, all right, cool.
You passed.
You passed your test. By the way, Saruto here gave us a bunch of like deeds and stuff for like 50 billion yen of Watase family stuff. So you're good. You're good to go now. But you're gonna help them do their plan, and that's your new quest.
And then we played some video games in the basement.
Yeah, because there's a master system down there. I was like, all right, let's just do this a little bit.
I like that one of the guys in there is like, man, there's some weird stuff in here. And
Yeah.
yep.
Good good point there to bring up the idea of the mini games in this here video game. There is, of course,
Yeah.
we talked about the Coliseum. That is, pretty atypical. You do your Coliseum fights. There is also the team battle portion of this, where you assemble a clan, the Joryu clan. And basically, you can go around and recruit members. You can do that through side quests and everything, through finding people in the Coliseum who you've beaten up. And then you can also have people get recruited over to you and all that sort of stuff via paying money to these specific handlers and everything. We had the DLC, which was basically you get the DLC characters of Daigo, Majima, and Saejima, which is very fun. So yeah, you basically those are just like 4v4 or 10v10 fights that you'll have in the Coliseum and everything. You have the return of Pocket Circuit. It is back. You do your slot car racing.
Kiryu is so happy about it.
Kiryu is very happy about it. So you get to do a lot of that. A lot of the karaoke, of course. You have a lot of the traditional stuff that you would have around Sotenbori. Like I think Pool is new, but I think it's been in 4 and 5, or it's been one of like the 3 through 5 trilogy of games.
We've had it before, but it's back now. We have golf,
darts, golf, arcade games, because you got those. You can play through all of Sega or Sonic the Fighters if you're a real sicko like me.
If you really, really want to.
It's
oh
not
boy,
worth
that
it.
game is not good. There's the claw games.
Claw games, of course, yeah. Yeah, that's basically kind of like all your big mini games, and then of course the Cabaret Club stuff, and then like the gambling stuff as well. That is in every single game, so there's all that. Yeah. So a whole lot of stuff.
Also, one of the karaoke songs is very distracting.
Because it's the one from Ishin.
It is. And there's just booby ladies everywhere, and Kiryu is just naked, popping up everywhere, and it's like, oh, this is so distracting.
There's a whole lot of side quests as well in this game. A lot of them involved Akame and her network, where you're going around helping people. There's a few kind of non-parts of that. Most of those involve the Coliseum, where you go fight like the 4 kings of the Coliseum.
That one fight.
There's one fight in there that is just awful and terrible, and I hated it, and I was very getting very salty about that fight. As you were very keen and aware of.
I was trying to encourage you.
Yeah. It was just very tough, and
no, it was a dumb fight.
Artificially tough in terms of it's like, here's just a bunch of HP on these dudes that doesn't need to be.
Yeah, that clown man was just a sponge.
But
the other guy had 10,000 HP bars.
Yeah. All of that eventually, though, leads you into the Amon stuff, where you have a fight against a bunch of Amon robots, and then you fight this game's version of Amon afterwards. So you do all that stuff. But yeah, most of the side stuff is basically around the Akame network, where you just go around and like get requests and like, hey, this person needs this help, and you're like, all right, I guess I'll go do this and do all that sort of stuff.
But there's one in particular.
Yes, that's what I'm about to get to.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, you get a request to be like, yeah, there's like this person going around beating up the homeless people.
They look like a gorilla.
So you go to investigate it, and you get to the spot, and you're like, none of these people look like a gorilla. And then this dude calls out to you, and he's like, hey, are you fighting the homeless people? And you're like, no. And he's got a real shiny orangish shirt, some slacks, looks like a gorilla. Holy crap. It's Kaito.
It's our boy Kaito.
Wow.
God, I was so excited.
I was very excited about that as well. I was not in the slightest expecting that.
No, I wasn't either.
Because, at this point, they had not really meshed these universes together at all.
Right.
They had been very separate, kept separate from each other. So to see these two, see the boys hanging out, interacting with Kiryu was very fun. Especially because Kaito is very like untrusting, and then he's just like, "Oh, sorry, I guess I got bad info. My bad, dude."
My bad.
It's also weird because like we were playing obviously in the Japanese dub, because that's all that's available right now, and that's how I play the Yakuza games, is in the Japanese dub, because
right.
That's how I've played all of those. So it's like weird hearing Japanese Kaito and Higashi. It'd be like, I don't know your Japanese voices at all, because I play those games in English.
Right. No, it was so confusing because it was like, that's not what you sound like. I
So that
was so happy
was,
to see them.
yeah, that was really cool. I was very happy to see them, and like Kaito's like, hey, if you're ever in Kamurocho, we got a detective agency. You need help? Give us a call. Kiryu's like,
Hmm.
Yoosh. But
It
yeah,
was good.
then you get to recruit them for the clan in the Coliseum, which is very nice
Mhm,
as well.
mhm. Oh, I was so excited to see them together.
That was so cool. Big top moment for us specifically.
It was amazing. And then like partway through like the story, there's a thing with like Kaito getting beat up. He's like, "Ah, it's fine. I can take 1,000,000 of these hits. I'm
Yeah.
I'm basically built like a tank." And it's like, hey, I mean, he's not wrong, but he's also like acknowledging he'll take the hits because he was wrong in the first place.
hmm
I was like, "Oh,
Good boy,
Kaito is
Kaito.
he's such a good boy." I say as if he's not like a 40-year-old man.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. Oh, love it. Love it. That was such a good thing for us.
It's very good. I was very happy with that.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, like I said, a lot of side stuff you get to do, and a lot of this also happens in chapter 2, which makes that the bulk of the game.
Yeah.
Where like the rest of the chapters you'll get through in like maybe like a couple, like 3 to 5 hours if you're, you know, if you've done most of the side stuff at that point.
Mhm.
Chapter 2 took us like 15
It took us a long time.
because
Yeah.
it just basically is like, here's just everything you can do essentially. So there's
That
all
was the
that.
bulk of the
hmm
game.
So yeah. Anyways, story stuff here. You go back to the castle, and Saruno's like, "Hey, we gotta take care of Nishitani because he's not gonna like this whole idea of Watase dissolving the Omi alliance. And if he's around, he'll rile up the troops and basically cause an uprising, and we will not get this done. So we need to take care of this feller right away."
Also,
Um,
when he first meets you, he like sexually harasses you.
yeah, he's a little weirdo.
Yeah, he like grabs his junk and is like thrusting at Kiryu. I'm like, bro.
He's real something.
Yeah, he like Nishani the original was a weirdo, but not at this level. This guy's just a psychopath.
Yep. So you have to fight him at one point in the castle, and then he realizes who you are, and Kiryu just knocks him out.
Mm.
So that leads you basically to being like, all right, we gotta lure this dude out from the castle because he doesn't leave the castle, and we gotta find a way to do that to take care of him. So this leads to Kiryu being like, hey, Saruno, get me a bunch of money. We're gonna go out on the town
Gonna hit the town with the
with the
boys.
boys.
It's really good.
They do that to try and lure Nishitani out, but it doesn't work. So, but they lure Nishitani away from the castle, so they are able to go to the castle and take it over.
Hmm.
And then they leak the existence of the castle to the media, and then Nishitani's like, "Grr,
Grr.
come to this shipyard, and we will fight."
The spending money section though was so funny.
It was really funny, yes.
It was really, really funny. Like you're just hanging out with the boys and like buying suits
hmm
and hanging out with ladies. I think one of my favorite things about like the castle takeover thing is that Kiryu like takes a selfie with a bunch of like bikini
Yeah.
ladies around him. And he's just like grinning like he's like winning the world. And it's like, this is great. This is so funny. Because that's like not him at all.
And then he sits in the big chair overlooking the castle like he's Leon S. Kennedy.
I say big Leon S. Kennedy energy there.
It's very good.
It was very good.
So you have to go to the shipyard to fight Nishitani. You go with the one of the Watase family captains, Shishido. And you fight through this place, and you get up to Nishitani, and you beat him up, and the whole place is on fire while you're doing it. As you do, because it's like a Dragon Yakuza fight.
Right,
Gotta
right.
have that. You incapacitate him, and you're like, all right, we gotta get this guy out of here.
It's on fire. We gotta
It's
go.
on fire. But oh no, Shishido is just stabbing this dude to death. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like going to town on him. It was like, oh, oh.
And Kiryu is big mad about this. He's like, you did not tell me about this. You should
I
have
don't want
let
to
me
be an
know.
accessory to murder.
And like Saruto's whole thing is like, yo, this dude sucked. He was awful.
No.
He deserved to die. And Kiryu's like, look, cool motive, still murder.
Yeah, basically.
And that's it for that for the bit. And then we basically warp to the day before Watase gets out. Kiryu's just hanging out at the temple again, and Hanawa shows up, and Hanawa's like, "Hey, after you're done with after this job and everything, you should like take a vacation, because you've done a lot for the Daidoji, and you deserve a little break." And he's like, "Hey,
where would you like to go?
Yeah, if you had a wish, where would you want to go? Like, if you had you go anywhere in the world." And he's like, "No, I'd want to go to Hawaii." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And Kiryu's like, I had this girl back in the day, and she always wanted to visit this church in Hawaii. And
so it was a perfect place to get married.
Perfect place to get married. And I got this ring, and I feel like it would be like the best place to leave this ring and everything. And then he's like, "Oh, never mind. Just wishful thinking. Don't worry about it. Just forget about that stuff."
I didn't say anything.
So yeah, you get ready, and you have to go to meet up with Watase, who is out of prison, and they're at this construction site, and because that's where they have to meet up with him, because the whole crackdown on the Yakuza is happening with the Kamurocho 3K plan is in effect, obviously, and all that sort of stuff, and the police and everyone are out to crack down on the Yakuza more so than usual, so they have to meet out here to get the big welcome and everything.
And all the stuff that's going on during 7 with the cleanup guys. Mm-hmm. I forget what they're called. But
Bleach Japan.
Bleach Japan, thank you, yes. Mm-hmm. They're doing their thing too, so.
So yeah, Watase shows up. Tsurudo, Shishido, and the Watase family are waiting for him. And everyone welcomes him. And he sees Kiryu, like, this guy!
This guy! I know this guy!
But then Shishido betrays everyone and tries to film. He's like, "What would the rest of the OVA Alliance think of this? I don't want to see the OVA Alliance dissolve. I'm going to take it over." So Kiryu, Tsurudo, and Watase have to beat up the rest of the Watase family, and also Nishitani's there as well, because he was not stabbed to death. He was fake stabbed to death.
Yep.
He's like, "Hello."
He was rubber bullets, but with a fake knife.
He was rubber knifed.
Rubber knifed.
So they were able to beat up everyone. Tsuruno gets stabbed, or gets like his shin sliced. Not cool.
Not cool.
Watase takes a knife to the gut.
Yep.
He's just like, "Urgh." And then Hanawa drives in and runs over Nishitani.
Which we thought it was a comedy for a minute, but yeah, apparently it was him.
He's like, "Oh, she gave me a tip about things might be going down here." And she's like, "Hello."
Hello, I'm here too.
So Nishitani's out of commission. Shishido is allegedly out of commission down in a pit. And they're like, "Oh boy, everyone's messed up here." They bandage
Watase's
up.
bleeding.
Yeah, they bandage up Tsurudo and Watase, get him in a suit. Akame puts makeup on him to make it look like he didn't get just beat up.
Right. He's like, y'all don't have to have makeup on. I gotta get makeup on.
Yeah.
He's so bad about it.
Yeah. And that leads us to the big thing at the Omi Alliance, of course.
Woo! Which we saw in 7.
Yeah, we get a lot of like scenes from 7 intercut with like some new stuff where you get to see like Kiryu and Tsuruno in the background chit-chatting about things and everything. Like, we get to see when Ichiban shows up and everything, when Daigo, Majima, and Saishima show up, when the one dude teams up with you in 7, the boxer guy teams up with you as well. And then, of course, the great scene where like everyone's fighting, and then Kiryu just walks in frame and protects Watase from getting stabbed, and it's a very good moment.
And it also gives some explanation on like why Watase was not fighting in that scene.
Yeah,
because that was kind of strange is the word I'm looking for. Since
his belly hurts.
His belly hurts. He's bleeding, but like he's a tough Yakuza man. He would fight if he could.
Yeah, so he already did fight. So
yeah, he already fought. He took a little stabby to the gut.
It was a nice full circle moment, because like that was one of the first scenes that you watched of Yakuza.
Yeah,
when I was playing through 7.
It was.
I remember getting very excited about Kiryu showing up, and you being just like, "Who's that?
Who's that guy?
Who's this guy?"
This is obviously a big deal, but I don't know who he is.
So yeah, you get to see all that stuff. You get to fight alongside everyone, and then you get to see basically Kiryu's path of like what he does while Ichiban and the gang fights the rest of these folks and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
You get led out to the front of the Omi Alliance headquarters where you and the boys,
The boys.
it's you, Majima, Saijima, and
Daigo.
Daigo get to rip your shirts off.
Oh my god.
It's very good.
It was so good. Oh, I was screeching at this point. And like the whole time Kiryu and like Majima is ripping on, he's like, "Oh, hey, I knew you didn't die. Like, welcome back. You know, we should go for a drink or whatever." And Kiryu's like, "No, no, you got the wrong guy." But like he rips off his shirt and you see the tattoo, like it's very obviously him. And he's like, "No, no, you got the wrong
Got
guy,
the wrong guy.
man."
Sorry. Majima's like, "Are you
Oh,
mother?"
I know who you are, but like Daigo looks so sad.
Poor Daigo.
Poor
He's like,
Daigo.
I just want to hang out with my boy and with a puffy jacket on.
Daigo was like, "You wrote me a letter about being my dad. Now you won't even acknowledge me. What's going on here?"
But yeah, the boys have to fight because Shishido shows back up and he rallies the rest of the Omi Alliance to fight them, and they all get beat up, and then Kiryu and Shishido fight through the Omi Alliance headquarters and eventually fight their way back out to the outside, where Kiryu just knocks him off the roof.
Mm-hmm. The rough,
The rough.
which that might actually come up if we talk about the demo at all.
Yeah. So the boys are all happy they did their thing, and Shishido again is trying to do one last gasp, but he gets knocked out by the one very sketchy Daidoji agent, and basically it's like, all right, well, you're going to be an agent for us along with Nishitani, so have fun. And they just throw him in the back of a limo, in the trunk of a limo, and they're like, all right, you work for us now.
That's going to be interesting. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what's going to happen there, but
Yeah.
whew.
We don't go through the other parts of 7 where Kiryu shows up, like where he goes and fights Ichiban. Like that's
We
all
get like a
glossed over.
flashback
Yeah.
to it.
But basically, we fast forward to 2020 where Kiryu's back at the temple and everything, and Hanama shows up. He's like, "Hey, I got a little gift for you. I don't really know if I should give this to you or not because it might be kind of cruel, but here you go." It's a recording of the grave of Kiryu's grave, and there's a scene where we see Haruka and Haruto show up. Haruto also is big now; he can walk. He's like
He's
4 years
4.
old. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
And then like some of the other kids show up, Taichi and Ayako show up, and they see like a glimmer of a light, and they see a camera, and they're like, "Oh, that's weird. Why is it looking at Kiryu's grave?" And
Which is on.
they basically are like, "Well, what if he's actually still alive? We should give him a message and tell him everyone's okay and everything, and how we're all doing, what everyone's up to." And like be like, "Hey, we understand. Hey, if you're still alive and you can't see us, it's probably something important. We get it, but we just want to let you all know." Or let you know that we're all doing great. You helped us all become better people. Through your help and like looking over us and everything, and that's why we are where we are to get today. And then like they said like, oh, we're gonna bring everyone else to give messages to you, but like Hana was like, yeah, we had to get rid of that camera unfortunately because we didn't want people to know potentially Kiryu's still alive. But they left you a gift on your grave, and it's this picture that Haruto drew of everyone at the orphanage and Kiryu looking real big.
It's just a round circle with limbs.
It's very good, but
It's
also
very good.
very
Oh my
sad.
god.
Kiryu
This
is just
scene,
breaking down, just
I mean,
literally sobbing,
ugly crying snot coming down
tears all over this iPad.
like he loses it, but he also like has a realization of like I need them more than they ever needed me. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, no, that's not true.
Like Hanawa even is just like, look, like I get this was kind of cruel, but like you meant a lot to those kids, and look how they've ended up. Like they've turned out really well, and that's because they got to hang out with you and all that sort of stuff.
Oh
It was
God,
very nice,
I was emotional in this moment.
very emotional.
I was crying right along with him. Maybe not as ugly as he was, but like that man has deserved his ugly cry. He can have it.
For sure.
Yeah. If anybody deserves an ugly cry, it's Kiryu at this point. Like
Mm-hmm.
this man's been through it and back.
For sure.
Oof.
Um, but yeah, he gets to see that, and then they're like, by the way, you get to go on vacation now. I mean, you still have to maintain your cover. You can't tell people you're Kiryu, blah, blah, blah. You can't go to Kamurocho or anything like that.
You still
But
can't go see the
can't
kids.
go see the kids. But, like, hey, like, go wherever you want. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Um, so he gets all dressed up and gets ready to leave the temple. And then Hanawa gives him his new alias and everything. And, like, he looks at the ID and yeah, I used this name before. Taichi Suzuki. And Hanawa's like, yeah, let's just say in the past I encountered you with that alias before. And Kiryu's like, huh.
He's like, you're not the only one who's erased his name. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
And Kiryu leaves the temple. Which that's led to some people like coming up with theories and everything because the dude who plays Hanawa is also shares the same voice actress as one of the dudes in Yakuza 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Moriyama, who
yeah, that sounds right.
Is one of the dudes you meet early on in the Kiryu story. One of the dudes who's supposed to be like protecting Daigo, and they come to find Kiryu to like be like, hey, Daigo's got bad stuff happening. He supposedly dies at some point, quote unquote, but you never see a body or anything, so mystery. So that's why people think that that's that guy, because he's one of the people who would know Kiryu through that name.
Mm-hmm.
And everything, which is an interesting little twist.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. And then we get a post-credit scene where 3 years later, Kiryu's in Hawaii and he leaves the ring for Yumi on the altar at the church. And then he goes to leave.
And that's exactly where he started the demo.
Yeah, so then you get the Infinite Wealth demo, and there's two demos for this, where there's a story demo, which features more obviously story stuff, and then there's just like a Hawaii demo where you kind of like, there's a little bit of story, but also you can basically do a lot more of the open world stuff.
Like some side quests and that kind of thing.
But yeah, the story demo basically starts you off right at the end of that post-credit scene, and Kiryu gets like a call being like, yeah, okay, I gotta do this mission, that's why I'm here, and everything. And then he basically like going around trying to find info and learns about a mysterious man who was arrested for indecent exposure, who had a weird dragon koi fish tattoo, and he's like, So that's how he runs into Ichiban, and Ichiban tells him he's trying to find his mom and everything. They go try and find her. They find an empty house, and they find this one dude who's like a local Yakuza person, and gotta fight him. And they take one of the members and adopt him, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they end that story demo. And then the other demo, you get a little bit of side stuff. You get to go fight the cop who arrested Ichiban.
Mm-hmm.
Which that cop having a skill called Thin Blue Line is something.
Oh, yeah, that was. Yep. They know what they're doing.
They sure do.
I mean, the localizers were definitely know what they're doing.
We got a little bit of side stuff. We got to do like a restaurant stuff where you had to go around and get people's orders and know exactly what the menu was and all that sort of stuff. There was a mini game where you have to take pictures of weird little dudes on a tram.
You had to take pictures of perverts.
Yeah. But yeah, you have more of a party in this. You have Chisato as well, who of course is played by one Anju Inami.
Our gal. Love it.
Was cool. She has her own karaoke song, which is also very cool.
It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
It also had Booba, though.
It did have Booba, you're right.
And you conveniently messed up on the song right when the Booba started jiggling, and I was like, uh-huh. And you're like, no, it wasn't because of that.
Fine coincidence.
It was a coincidence. She also had that like weird Hawaiian dancer class. I was like, huh?
I think everyone will get that job.
Oh, really?
I think maybe, I don't know. But yeah, you can choose from different jobs in the Hawaii demo to test those out and everything.
You also get a Segway, and you could customize it.
The Segway is in there. Yeah, we get to ride the Segway a lot.
Everybody gets a Segway.
We went to the bar where Keisan shows up.
Mm-hmm. Which is the thing that I was going to bring up, because I mentioned the rough joke earlier.
Yes.
That it is theorized by the people on the internet, and also like I believe it, that the bar owner here is the man that says roof in four,
3.
three.
Yeah, the Albert Wesker looking dude from
Yeah, the Albert
3.
Wesker English man.
Yes. Because that's Kiryu's spot that he introduces Ichiban to. And
Yes.
Kiryu like shows up and the bartender's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" and everything. And like
Hey,
they're cool, so like it would make sense that like those two would end up knowing each other, and that's
right.
why this guy is just like, "Yeah, okay, I'll like Kiryu
Like
and his
Crash
gang
here and all
and
that.
be cool with all this and everything." So I think
He
it,
just looks so much like him.
yeah, it's a fun little thing because especially with like what they did with Kashiwagi and Seven and
Hmm.
all that sort of stuff. So it's a fun thing. The battle system seems very similar. There's more kind of like I think improvements to the AOE attacks and all that sort of stuff. There is a
Hmm.
movement radius now that you can have where you can move around a specific area and you could use that to get positionals on enemies and all that sort of stuff. Um,
Which I guess is good for like follow-ups and that kind of
yeah,
thing.
it's very similar kind of like to like the Trails series, how they have like the big movement circle you can use,
Hmm.
and that Kiryu's RPG style is very interesting because like he has the 3 fighting styles from Zero,
Hmm.
0 and 1, I think. So you can choose between those, and they have different. They do different things, obviously, but then like if you power him up enough, you basically just turn into the traditional beat 'em up style or brawler, stuff where you just go around and like you have no RPG mechanics. You're just running around beating people up. That's very funny.
That is really funny.
So yeah, that
It's
that
like a best of both worlds type situation
yeah,
there.
I think it works really well. We got to see some of the Pound mates.
Hmm.
We got to see Nancy and her new
Nancy's
friend.
back. Nancy's back. And she has a friend, and the friend is
It's
great.
really good.
Really good. It's
Uh,
like a hermit crab. Is that what it is?
sure.
Can't remember.
We got to see some of the special attacks, which would looked really fun as well.
Yeah, and it seems like Gary Buster Holmes might have a daughter.
Who's also named Chitose,
Yeah.
has the same the same haircut as Anju.
Yeah, that part's interesting.
But yeah, it all seems really fun. It seems a lot. They are definitely it's very much the same style as Yakuza 7, but they're adding more stuff to it. They came out recently and were like, hey, this game's gonna be long, so don't just like try and do it all at
Shotgun
once
it.
because you are going to be struggling.
Oh boy.
But yeah, it seems really good.
I'm excited.
We only have like a couple of months to wait for that.
Yeah. Into January.
Hmm. Soon.
Elsa. Very,
Soon.
very soon.
So yeah, that was a fun little thing to get, and yeah, like a Dragon Gaiden, a fun little thing as well.
It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I wish I was fishing.
I wish Kiryu got to see the kids in person.
I do wish he got to see the kids in person. That is pretty devastating that that's how we end it.
Yeah. Also,
Like they should just let him see
yeah.
him.
Also, we understand now why Kiryu looks like a K-pop star in Yakuza 8 is just because he's old.
He's old.
He's old.
He's
He's
got
on
gray
vacation.
hair.
He's letting his hair down. He's getting old.
Yeah.
That's it. It's
He's
not just like, oh, he's dyeing his hair weird. No, he's just old.
yeah. Like that's why I was not sure. Like, is he undercover or something? No, he's just getting old.
He's in his like mid-50s now. Like he's
And
getting
he's
up
like,
there.
eh. He's like,
He's led a hard
and he's,
life too.
I was saying he's been very stressed out for many, many years. So, if he's going a little gray, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Let man live his best life, and maybe him and Jungi Han can compare silver hairs.
Yeah, we didn't get to see much of the original crew in the demo,
Nah,
but
not yet.
they will all show up eventually as well.
Mhm.
But
We're gonna have to figure out what to do about that shark, but
yeah, well we'll get it figured out for
we'll
sure.
deal with that when it comes.
But yeah, that is Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. Our fun little jaunt with Joryu.
It was real sad.
Mm-hmm.
Broke my heart.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for that. That's gonna do it for this episode.
Mhm.
So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared and Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. Follow us on Blue Sky at seasonalanimecheckup.com. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, Hot Tubs, and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a whole wealth of bonus content as well.
Mm-hmm.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week.
Next week. It's a week.
It'll be December.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking. This is no joke.
Joke.
The first episode of December will see us descend into the dungeon. As we will talk about a game that started off as an April Fool's joke and is now a real thing.
Yep.
Of course, we will be talking about Yohane the Parhelion, Blaze in the Deep Blue.
Mm-hmm.
So look forward to us talking about Love Live stuff, because that's what we're going to do. Shocker, I know.
That's what we do. What? We never talk about Love Live. We didn't even talk about Love Live in this episode, which is absolutely unrelated to Love Live.
It's true.
We did. We talked about Love Live for a second.
Oh, no.